Good evening and welcome to this August 3rd virtual meeting of the Paducah Planning and Zoning Commission. I want to welcome all of you and ask that you join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Tracy, call the roll, please.
Yes. Chairman Casillas.
Here.
Commissioner Wade.
Here.
Commissioner Schramke.
Here.
Commissioner Pollard.
She was here.
No, I'm here. He had me muted.
Oh. Commissioner Morrison.
Here.
Commissioner Bradford. Commissioner Benberry. Commissioner Benberry.
Ms. Schramke, you have the minutes motion.
I do. I move that the reading of the minutes July 20, 2020 be waived. In the minutes of said meeting by the Secretary, the approved as written.
Second.
Are there any corrections? Call the roll, please.
I'm sorry, I seconded that. Mr. Wade, Commissioner Wade. Great. Chairwoman Casillas.
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison.
Aye.
Commissioner Pollard.
Aye.
Commissioner Schramke.
Aye.
Commissioner Wade.
Aye.
Thank you for rolling with the changes.
Hey, we're okay. Don't worry about it. Commissioner Wade, you have the items removed from the table 900 North 32nd Street.
Yes, I move that this commission remove from the table case number APP 2020-034 pertaining to 900 North 32nd Street. Second.
Second by Morrison. Is there any discussion? Call the roll, please. Aye. We can't hear you, Tamara.
Commissioner Wade.
Aye.
Commissioner Schramke.
Aye.
Commissioner Pollard.
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison.
Aye.
Mr. Wade, would you be willing to read the original motion, please, just so that we refresh our memory? It's already on the table, or it's been removed from the table, but just to remind everybody what it is.
Yes, I believe it's already been moved and seconded. I move that this commission not adopt a resolution approving the amendment to a development plan for property located at 900 North 32nd Street. I further move that the following finding of facts made in support of said denial. The largest sign located on the site in the past has been 50 square feet, which provides adequate visibility. Single-family homes are located on the south and east of the site, and a larger sign would disrupt the residential character. Large signs, such as the proposed sign, are typically located on major arterials, and North 32nd Street is a minor arterial intended to connect Midtown to Park Avenue and serve the nearby residential area. There is no competition from other signs in the vicinity. And lastly, the business on this site is a destination in itself, as opposed to a motorist deciding which business to patronize based upon signage.
Is there anyone here to speak regarding this amendment to a development plan? If you're here to speak about the development plan, wave your hand or something.
I am here to dispute that. My name is Sean Strickland.
Mr. Strickland?
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, I can.
Okay. Can I say a few words on that?
Absolutely.
Thank y'all very much. My name is Sean Strickland. I used to have a place on down the road.
You need to get closer to your microphone.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Much better.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm talking to my phone. My computer's not working correctly, but I'm not a big computer guy. But I used to have on 538 North 32nd Street. Now I've moved to a bigger location. I've hired more people. The sign that's presently there, the marquee sticks out 1.5 feet from the post itself, okay? So when y'all added all that up, you added the marquee to it. So the marquee is 3 by 8. Excuse me, that's not correct. 3 by 10 now on the bottom of the sign. We're getting rid of the marquee. The marquee will no longer be there. So we're going to go out 1 foot from the original sign up to the top. It's not going to stick out, but it's the same amount that the marquee sticks out. I've already talked to all the neighbors on the south side. I've talked to all the lady that owns the property all behind me, the people that own the property next to me. No one has a problem with the sign. I could go all in the west end of the people. All people do not have a problem with that sign. You know, it does need to be bigger. It's small, it's inside the post, it could be bigger. It's not going to be an eyesore because it already sticks out 1 foot on both sides with the marquee. But the marquee will not be there, so it's not actually going to be any bigger than what it is. If you really look at it, the marquee sticks out, the marquee won't be there. So I'm really having a hard time understanding what that means to people driving by. I don't think it's an eyesore. I don't think it's anything other than what it is. It's a sign. It's 2 foot bigger than what it is circumference. If you go all the way around it, it's 2 foot bigger than what it is now. The post, the 6 by 6 post sitting there, it's a foot wider than what the sign is now. So if you do the math on it, it's really simple to see that it's not that much larger. And that's really what I got to say for it. I mean, I hired 40 people here. I'm trying to do a good business. I pay plenty of taxes to the City of Paducah. I've been paying taxes on the City of Paducah for 5 years now. Everything's, I'm not trying to do anything that's, disruptive or anything like that. I just want a bigger sign. I've made improvements to the area. I've made improvements to the community. And that's really all I have to say.
Other comments or questions? Ms. Tracy, do you have comments that you'd like to make?
I would like to ask Mr. Strickland for a point of clarification. Are you able to see the screen?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Okay. When you say marquee, what are you referring to exactly? Can you describe that?
Yes, ma'am, I can. The white part that's at the bottom of the post that sticks out on both sides. That sticks out on both sides of the post. Okay, that's not going to be there any longer. Okay.
Okay.
We're getting rid of the marquee, but it already sticks out. It's as far as I'm concerned, a sign would be less of an eyesore than that big white marquee that sticks out.
Yes.
I mean, it's not going to be lit. It's lit by 2 lights at the top. you know, and that alone would make it more visible if I could go a foot out on both sides. I'm not asking for a giant sign. I'm trying to get rid of the marquee, which is an eyesore. We don't use it anyway. No one hardly ever used that marquee.
Well, allow me to say I'm glad that you're with us tonight. We had a number of questions as far as the actual dimensions and all last time. And I also point out the word eyesore I don't think has ever come up from us. So
I didn't say that. I didn't say that y'all thought it was an eyesore. I just wanted to make sure that to me it'd be less of an eyesore if I was somebody driving by and seeing big white marquees sticking out a foot on both sides as it would a sign.
Well, one of the questions we had last time, and hopefully you can help us tonight, what is going to be the actual square footage of the new sign?
Okay, so here's what it is. The top of the sign. What I'm really wanting to do. I'm wanting to make a 10-foot by 10-foot sign there. Right now it's 5 by 6, but it's inside the frame. So actually, what I'm really only wanting to do is to go out the same size as the marquee sticks out. I'm wanting to go out foot out of the actual 6 by 6 frame that's setting out there. I'm wanting to go up just like the marquee. I'm wanting to go straight up, over, straight down, and across at the same distance that the existing marquee, the white part on the bottom, is.
And from our notes, in 2009, this commission approved a 40-foot sign in addition to the changeable copy sign, which I would guess is the marquee part. It's 3 by 10.
That is correct.
So if you add the 30 feet on that plus the 40 feet, you are currently at a 70 square foot sign.
What was the existing sign to begin with?
Our notes here says that the Planning Commission approved in 2009 a 40-foot sign in addition to the changeable copy sign. So is that what is currently there, about 40 square feet up at the top?
Without me going out there remeasuring it, I'm not really sure. But if you look at the frame, if you look at the marquee on the picture, I'm sure y'all have a picture of it. If you look at the marquee, it'd be going from the bottom of the marquee. It'd be going from the bottom of the marquee to the top of the post around in a square or a rectangle. I guess it'd be a rectangle. It's not going to stick out any further than the marquee all the way around.
So would I be correct in saying that currently there's a 70 square foot provision? So he's asking to go from 70 to 100 square feet?
That would be pretty close.
And just as a reminder, we did have one homeowner from the area show up last meeting who was opposed to this.
So the lady that owns all the property behind me, and the people that own the property next to me, and the people that I talked to in front of me, they were not opposed. So I don't know where those other people were, but
I'm just saying we had one lady show up who lives behind you somewhere.
Okay. Well, I don't know where she lives back there, but an African American lady come to my restaurant after y'all sent letters out, and she said she owns all that property behind me, and she said that she had no problem with it at all. I mean, she don't live behind me, but she lives on the west end over there as well, and she said she owned every bunch of houses back there. I don't know. That's just
this was a lady that lives on Levin.
Well,
thank you, Bob.
But does she own the property? Does she rent it?
It does not say.
That would be my question. Because the lady that owns the property behind me on 11 says she owns all that property that joins me. Besides Billy Brooks that owns the thicket behind my restaurant. So I don't know about that, but
Is the sign already installed?
No, ma'am.
no, ma'am. Y'all might just put a small sign up.
What, if you can see the screen, Lorraine, the bottom left where it says 2020, that's what currently is there.
That's what I thought. I went by it and I thought that's what I recognized.
Commissioners, I would like to caveat all of this with the fact that the exhibit you're seeing is the best estimate or guess of my staff of what these dimensions are. What was submitted had 0 dimensions on it. So I just want to bring that to your attention so that you can make your decision with that caveat in mind, that it might not be exactly 8 foot across. That's our best guess. And we use that to scale out everything else.
I think one thing that's confusing a little bit is that proposed sign in the lower right.
Yes.
Actually, that should go all the way down below where the white portion is, where the marquee is, and all the way up to the top. And I think maybe that's what may be throwing some people.
Yeah, that's what we were hoping to get. When we tabled this, we were hoping to get exact.
That's what was submitted. So that's all we had to go on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the white marquee. Go ahead.
And now we've learned tonight that the reader board portion is going to be eliminated.
That is correct.
But you're saying, let me ask, you're saying it's going to be 10 by 10. The new sign will be 10 by 10, correct?
That is what I'm saying.
I don't see anything that shows a 10 by 10.
I don't either.
Well, that's because they got that part wrong. They didn't get rid of the marquee, which they should have when I asked them to change that. They didn't, when they submitted that wrong, and it actually should be a 10 by 10 sign.
So, I was going to say, my question is it actually just going to go as wide as the post?
No,
The horizontal post?
No, ma'am. It will be a foot. It will be a foot wider on both sides.
It'll be a foot out from each one.
Just
It
like
would
the
be
marquee
equal to the
is.
current width of the marquee.
That is correct. That is correct.
Excuse me, but I think this is very confusing that we don't have an actual drawing
It's not real confusing.
of the sign.
It's a 10 by 10 sign.
I can't make a decision unless I see that. All of this, at the same breakout.
I cannot hear what Lorraine's saying. I don't know if anybody else can.
She's saying it's confusing. It's going to be, it's just like if you went from the bottom of the marquee, it sticks out a foot on both sides. It'd go 10 foot up from the bottom, over 8 foot, and then down.
Well, I hate to tell you, but if it was 10 feet wide and 10 feet tall, it wouldn't look like that proposed sign.
No.
It would be wider.
You are correct. You are correct. But the proposed sign was, if I'm not mistaken, was 109 square foot. Is that correct?
I've not heard that number.
Yes, you have, because that was proposed. I'm talking about 9 inches smaller than a proposed. The proposed was 109 square foot. This is going to be 100 square foot, 10 by 10. The white board, which will be gone, is as wide as it's going to be. And it'll go up 10 foot from the bottom, 8 foot from, or 10 foot across. It will be 100 square inches, or 100 square foot, excuse me.
As far as I can tell, what I'm looking at says 9 foot by 8 foot.
Yeah, that's what mine says too.
And if that's what they received in planning and zoning, and that's what we're looking at, it needs to be resubmitted with the right number.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we can do that, I guess. I'm just, I guess they got it wrong when they submitted it. It was supposed to be what I just said it was supposed to be. I'm just trying to get a bigger sign. It's a 5x6 now. I want what I just submitted to y'all. I'm not trying to shake up anything or cause any problems. I just.
Well,
We want to help.
I sure would appreciate it. I thank you very much. And
I would
help. I'm paying taxes. I want to do everything I can to help 40 employees that I have. And this epidemic is not helping things. You know, we thought we were going to be closed last time, but we barely made it through it, and I'm trying to make it through it now.
I would entertain a motion.
With the sign. That's all I need is a little help with the sign. That's all I'm asking.
I would entertain a motion that we table the item again until he has an opportunity to resubmit. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Bob's made that motion.
Second.
Second by Schramke. Is there any discussion? Call the roll, please.
What do I have to do to make a motion?
Mr. Strickland, if you could,
Yes, ma'am.
if you could mute your mic for a minute so I can call roll.
Sure.
Thank you. All right, Chairman Casilius,
Yes.
Commissioner Wade,
Yes.
Commissioner Schramke,
Yes.
Commissioner Pollard,
Yes.
Commissioner Morrison.
Yes.
Okay.
All right,
Now,
thank you.
Mr.
If I may, Mr. Strickland's email address is on the application. If he could get a copy of the staff report so he sees exactly what we see, I think that might cut the corner on some of the confusion.
Yes. Mr. Strickland, if you are on the line still,
Yes, ma'am.
if you could call our offices tomorrow, and we will work through this to see that you get moving forward.
I would very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank y'all. Bye.
Ms. Pollard, you have the next item of business.
Yes, ma'am.
401 Walter Jeton Boulevard.
I move that this commission remove from the table case ZON 2020-064 and VAR 2020-065 pertaining to 401 Walter Jeton Boulevard.
Second.
Second by Morrison. Is there any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Chairman Castillo.
Aye.
Commissioner Schramke.
Aye.
Commissioner Pollard.
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison.
Aye.
All right.
Now, Ms. Pollard, would you be willing to read the motion and the variance again, just to refresh people's memories?
Yes, ma'am. I move that the Planning Commission recommend to the City Commission case ZON 2020-064 pertaining to 401 Walter Jeton Boulevard be rezoned to the B3 zoning classification. I further move that the following findings of facts be adopted. The use of multifamily, symphony venue, and artist space are found in the B3 zone. The proposed rezoning of the B3 classification is in compliance with the City of Paducah Comprehensive Plan. The parcels around this site are proposed to change to commercial uses over time as shown on the future lane use map. The uses proposed in the building are supported by the City of Paducah Comprehensive Plan goals and objectives. The school building is proposed to be adaptively reused, thereby providing infill development, enhancing the downtown economy, and adding population to the City of Paducah as a whole. I further move that a condition be placed on this rezoning to not allow automotive uses of any type in the future, and I further move that a parking waiver variance be granted to reduce the required number of parking spaces from 471 spaces to 179 spaces based on the following findings of fact. Reasonable on-street parking can be provided 400 feet from the property. 9 homes that require on-street parking can be accommodated. Most existing homes are served by existing alleys or streets to the rear of the property. The Parks Department has entered into an agreement to allow the usage of the Midtown Golf Course parking lot as overflow parking. The City of Paducah Board of Education has entered into an agreement to allow the usage of the Gould Avenue parking lot as overflow parking. The Paducah Symphony Orchestra anticipates only requiring 300 seats for most of its performances. The apartment consists of 40 one-bedroom apartments and 20 two-bedroom apartments, thereby reducing the need for vehicular parking. The site is on the Green Line, Pat's route, and also the Pat's trolley stops at the Jackson House 1 block away.
Thank you. Ms. Tracy, do you have a presentation before we ask for comment?
I'm sorry, was that question directed to the applicant?
Chairman Kasu, I would, since we do have the applicant's representative here,
Okay.
I suggest present their case.
Thank you. Who's here representing the applicant, please?
Hi, my name is Jeremy Dyer. I'm with the Marion Development Group. Is it possible to share my screen or...
Yes.
I don't think, did that work?
All right, so I've given you control. You should be able to, the bottom, the share, click the share button.
And then you can pick your document.
I am not seeing that option.
What do you have at the bottom? Oh, were you on your phone?
My vault, sorry, the audio is through the phone, but I am hooked up to the computer.
Oh, okay.
Are you all able to see the inside of a theater at this point?
No.
No, you did get my, I switched presenter mode to you and you saw that message come through?
Oh, I'm just now seeing it. Give me just a second here.
Okay.
Actually, it is saying, welcome to the meeting lobby. There we go. Okay. and start sharing. Okay, now are you able to see me?
Not yet, but it sounds like you might have a little bit of a lag, so we'll wait for it to pop up.
Okay. Nope.
I think you gave up control. Here you go. I'm going to give it to you again. All right, do you see it, Jeremy?
Yes. Okay, I hit start sharing.
Ah, there we go.
There you go. You got it.
Okay. That didn't pop up last time. I apologize. Okay, can you all see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I can no longer see you, so I'm flying blind here.
You need to see us.
Okay, I will try to be brief. Jeremy Dyer, Marion Development Group. We're out of Louisville, Kentucky, 1801 Payne Street, 40206. And I just want to briefly share with you a few things. I want to talk about the background of Marion Development, what we plan to do with the site, and I want to reiterate a few points that were in the planning staff recommendations and talk about why we believe the zoning change and the parking waiver should be granted. So first, Marion, quickly, we've been in business over 23 years, and we have completed several renovations like this. We've actually done 3 old schoolhouses, a couple of religious institutions, and industrial historic building, and without tax credits, we've done about 15 historic renovations, and as well, we've also done non-historic rehabs and new construction projects. Another thing that Marion Development Group specializes in is we have a history of partnering with respected local nonprofit organizations that provide appropriately designed service programs to fit local housing needs and enrich the culture of the community. One of the examples of an organization that we've partnered with several times in the past is the Family Scholar House. And I don't know if you all in Western Kentucky are as familiar with the program, but in Louisville and Northern Kentucky, we've done a few of these where it is housing that's provided to single-family parents that are enrolled in a secondary education, like a university or a college in the area. And it provides on-site daycare, preschool, and has a focus on filling generational educational gaps. So that's just a brief, overview of what we've done in the past. What we plan to do here with the Jatan Schoolhouse site is we're doing an innovative redevelopment project that is going to provide additional and diverse housing options, improve the local economy, and preserve a historic piece of Paducah. This plan includes multiple uses that are more in line with the original use of the historical site and the planning goals of the City of Paducah compared to the current residential-only use that's on the site today. So we believe it's time for another phase in the life of the Jatan Schoolhouse property, and hope that it continues to serve the community and empower local artists for another 100 or so years to come. So I'll direct your attention now to the screen. Let's see if I can zoom in here and show you guys some of the current conditions. And I know you guys have read the staff report. I'll just repeat briefly that this is basically 4 buildings. There is the old schoolhouse, which currently does have 21 apartment units. We're going to rehab that and put back in 21 apartment units. However, there's 3 more buildings on site, as you're aware, is the gymnasium, the old sort of library/classroom building, and then what you're looking at here is the Symphony Hall. And this is the interior of the Symphony Hall today, and you can see that there is no longer a stage. There's several holes in the wall, and you can see sunlight coming through the roof. So we want to preserve this treasure of Paducah. If I zoom in a little closer, I know you have some sites are some pictures of the site, but I thought an aerial view would be a little helpful to put it in a different perspective. And you can see, again, holes in the roofing, holes in the roof. You can see that the schoolhouse is kind of preserved. What we're worried about is losing the rest of this. So we have a plan to put more apartment units in the rest of this and a community service facility, which I'll talk about in just a second. This is what we plan for it to look like in the future. This is a rendering of the Symphony Hall. And as you can see, the complete rehab, redoing the brick, adding the lighting. We're doing outside patio. It'll be dug in. This will also be the entrance for the new nonprofit that'll serve that'll have their offices moved to the basement. This is kind of a different perspective of that plaza. And this is sort of a generic interior photo. But we want to bring, as you can clearly see, the stage is brought back, the ceiling's brought back, the windows, and the seating. So again, this is an overview of the building, all four buildings. And again, this is the original schoolhouse building. It is the oldest of the buildings. That's where the current 21 units exist. We'll redo the interior of all of that building. Currently, this is the gymnasium. As some of you are probably aware, it had a leaky roof as well. The basketball floor is kind of tore up in this area. But we're going to put in units all around this. Hope to keep some of the flooring. And then in Building C, we'll house a nonprofit that works in the visual arts. And in Building D, that will be the Symphony Orchestra, and the basement, which isn't pictured here, will become the office space for the nonprofits. Both nonprofits are both arts organizations. They'll house their administrative offices there, and both of them provide education, training, and they'll also create visual and performance arts in the space. So it'll truly be a multi-use facility. And because the areas outlined in blue are considered a community service facility, they will be primarily serving and open to low-income residents of Paducah. And the hope there is that the residents and even the community abroad will get to take advantage of these spaces and work with the nonprofits to either help start a business or just dabble in the arts or, enjoy the entertainment that's provided. So that is, and I apologize, I know we were kind of moving towards the parking first, but the two of them seem to go tandem, and I don't know if we can talk about one without the other. This is a general layout. Some of the units will look a little different, but we have 1 and 2 bedrooms, which I'll talk about again in a minute. And that has to do more with the parking. And I believe this map was included in your all's report. And I'll just leave it up there for reference for right now. So overall, the reason we believe that the zoning change should be approved is that the requested change does agree with the recommendations of the comp plan as pointed out in the staff report, but we also believe that the proposed zoning classification is more appropriate than the existing classification is more in line with the historical use of the building. Along the lines of the parking waiver request, we believe that should be approved because, number one, there will be very limited number of the events that would require more parking than normally would be required. And the combination of the street parking that is directly adjacent to the building and the on-site parking will be plenty enough for normal activities and normal residential use. So only on a few occasions would we have to go out further than that and seek additional parking. And a lot of that can be provided through street parking. And we were able to come to an agreement with the Parks Department and the Department of Education to get a shared use parking agreement. So in the event that there was an event that required quite a bit of parking, we would have access to those parking spaces as long as we were able to give them a notification in advance. Also, additionally, again, as I just pointed out, all of the units will be 1 and 2 bedrooms. So we don't believe that most of our tenants would require more than 1 vehicle as the current zoning request. Additionally, we believe a lot of our tenants are going to take advantage of the public transit and bicycle use, and therefore limit the need for some of the parking. So, in last few points, I would like to say that thanks for hearing us, and thanks for putting everything together to the staff. They did point out how this is in line with the comprehensive plan. I would like to mention a couple of more of the visions, goals, and objectives from the comprehensive plan that weren't pointed out in the staff report that we believe still meet, that this development successfully meets. And one of those is just, lies in the vision itself in the beginning of the plan. And they talk about the revitalization of older neighborhoods. They talk about the need to inspire in the community, and to do that by the reinvestment by the private sector and restoring the attractive character these neighborhoods had in the past. And as you can see from the rendering, that's exactly what we hope to accomplish here. The Paducah Symphony Orchestra had played there in the past, and I'm sure several of you may have parents or grandparents that have played in that hall or have seen a play or something in there, and we want to bring that back to life. Additionally, it's going to increase tax revenues and improve the economy by encouraging existing businesses to expand and new small businesses to establish themselves. And that's exactly what we're doing here. The 2 nonprofits, one of them already exists in Paducah, and the other would just be establishing their business in Paducah. But furthermore, we believe that both of these nonprofits are going to inspire people in the community and the tenants in our apartment to become a part of the arts scene in Paducah and to one day start their own business as well. Furthermore, in the goals and objectives in Chapter 3 under land use, we believe that the goal to upgrade the condition of deteriorating neighborhoods to improve the condition of housing is met by this plan. Also under Chapter 5 under economic development, the goal says to link economic development initiatives and quality of life initiatives together. And the objectives that we would meet there to meet that goal is enhance and encourage the creation of new businesses that I just talked about, focus recruitment efforts on sectors of the economy that are growth sectors. We had identified, and several plans in Paducah have identified the arts as one of those sectors, and so it just makes sense to build on that, and also supporting entrepreneurship and enhanced community character. Last thing I'll say is that although it may not have as much bearing as the comprehensive plan, we are in line with several other city plans. 2 of them I'd like to mention is Forward Paducah and Our Paducah. Forward Paducah being the Paducah Economic Development Plan. We meet the goals there of providing educated workforce through artist training, innovative lifestyles through live workspace that are open to the community, and a supply of diverse housing. And under Our Paducah and the strategic plan, they also mention some of the same things. Objective N2 is encourage, incentivize, and or support more housing options. Objective E8, cultivate local entrepreneurship and innovation. So as you can see, there are several plans in the city that we are meeting, and we would love to come and be a part of the community. So in conclusion, we believe that this project is going to make a valuable contribution to the wealth of artistic capital in Paducah for generations to come. And because it fits the plan of the community, we request the rezoning and parking waiver be approved so that we can meet those goals. And that is all I have for the presentation.
Thank you. That was a very good, comprehensive presentation. I have one question. Will the areas for Arts Incorporated and the areas in the basement of Symphony Hall be like a business incubator for businesses?
Yeah.
Will it provide services?
Yes. The nonprofit that focuses on the visual arts, that is their business model, is to help small entrepreneurs, starving artists. And what they do is they provide them they provide educational classes on the art, but the business aspect of it as well, and how to market their product. And in some cases, they can provide at a low cost a website base, so they can sell some of their art pieces online. So it reduces their startup costs of having to develop a website and market themselves, and it helps them get started there.
I have a question.
Yes.
I understand the amount of parking spaces will be drastically reduced. What will happen to that area where there are not parking spaces? Are you using it for something, or what's going to happen?
I apologize. I missed the beginning of your question.
Sure. You're reducing the parking spaces from, I forgot what the number was, down to 180. What will happen to the area that now has parking spaces that won't be used?
No, I think we're just saying that during our tenant doesn't believe that they're going to need more than a third of space under most circumstances when they hold an event. They only believe that they'll hold a couple of events a month, and maybe a couple of times a year would they have a larger than a third crowd. So when we were saying reduced spots, we just believe we don't need as many because we're never going to fill up the space, as we're never going to be at maximum capacity.
Okay, so how about the maintenance then of that large parking area? Will that be maintained, or how is that going to work?
Are you referring to the Board of Education?
If they're not being used all the time, I understand, but will the lot be maintained? Will it be blacktopped or whatever it needs to be? Will it be maintained as part of this project?
As part of this project, I don't believe we would be able to do a complete overhaul of the parking, but in looking at the parking lot, we believe that if we were to at least kill weeds, take off the fencing, and help with that portion of it, we could at least park cars there enough that we would need enough and have enough spaces that we would need. The long-term goal is to find additional financing and help the Department of Education with that if they would be interested. So the striping there is more of just a visual representation to show how many cars could be fit into that space. And I believe that lot was used for the gym maybe 10 years ago or less. So again, it's not in the best condition, but the amount of times that we would need it, we think it would be very limited. And we really believe that the street parking within 400 feet would provide enough spaces.
Mr. Dyer, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If we're talking about a resident who is there, are those parking spaces going to be designated for them?
The designated spaces are going to be sorry. They will be here and here. And this is public parking, so I don't believe we can designate spaces for them. I believe we will have to designate additional spaces here for ADA purposes. We are planning to add parking here, but from what you can see in your staff report, they had determined that we can only do one or the other here, or I think we could do a combination of parallel parking on both sides, or just one side vertical or perpendicular.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say this would also be considered on-site designated parking, but I'm not sure about this.
Yes, I see what you're saying. My question is, I'm a resident, and now rather than we go to these 179 spaces that's passed for that, and then we end up using 300 spaces. All of a sudden, as a resident, I can't get a parking place.
Right.
Now, assuming everything works just like you designed it here, but going from 471 to 179, that's a big change.
Yes, sir. I understand that concern. I believe one of the benefits of having this mixed-use development is that there are going to be the times that the tenants would be working, there wouldn't be events. So I believe for the most part, while they're working, and in some cases they may be working on site, they either wouldn't have a car or they would be back home before the event started. So they would be parked before, because most of these events are going to happen in the evening or on the weekends.
True.
And we've also heard from, from past tenants and past residents that this space, as I had mentioned in the presentation, this space had operated as sort of a mixed use. Even though it was an educational facility early on, they did have a gymnasium and a symphony hall, which is pretty amazing for a school to have, especially 100 years ago. And although there weren't as many cars back then, and I think more people probably walked, it was a mixed-use facility that would require quite a bit of extra space for people to come and participate in those events. And even as recently as I want to say 7 years ago, there were basketball leagues in the gym, and people were utilizing that Department of Education lot. And I had heard from other people that they would just park down the street, and it hasn't been that big of a deal. And the same with some symphony events back in the 80s, where I think they actually did have sellouts with full seating. And I did fail to mention earlier that we are going to, for the sake of making this more ADA compliant and just a nicer space, we're going to remove some of the seating in there, so it actually will not have 1,100 seats. It would probably be more likely in the vicinity of 600 or 700 seats, still not selling out one of the events.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask as far as the seating upon renovation. So thank you for answering that. The other question I was going to ask is signage to direct people to these somewhat distant or remote parking lots. Will that be present?
Yeah, we will have some signing. We haven't. We're going to have to work with permitting to determine, how large of the sign and where it can be located. But I think, our initial thought is that there's already currently a sign here for the apartments, so there would probably be something there, possibly on this corner if it's allowed, to show that the Paducah Symphony Orchestra is there, and we would want some small signage in the back to show that Art Inc.'s offices are back here, as well as Symphony Orchestra.
Well, I was referring to signage to direct people to the Annex lot and the Gould lot and the Parks lot, for instance.
Right. I don't know if we would have permanent signage. I don't know. I think that's a discussion that's a good question. We would have to discuss that with our tenants and talk that through. I don't know if it would be a temporary signage where maybe some kids are hired to hold a sign there and point people out if it were actually a larger event.
That's kind of what they did before when the symphony was there. They had people to help to direct traffic because there was never enough parking.
Yeah. So is it true that people just, I guess, parked down the street and you had to walk a couple of blocks if it were something major?
Yeah. They did what they had to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not the basis of how we would approve it, so that's why we're asking those questions.
Right.
Gotcha.
I have another question, Mr. Dyer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, on you've got this. I don't know how to reference this. This is in your parking waiver statement. What I'll call page 3.
Okay.
The strict application of provisions of the regulation would deprive the applicant of the reasonable use of the land or would create an unnecessary hardship on the applicant because. You see that one?
For some reason, when I shared my screen, I can't see anyone else or what you're displaying.
I'm not displaying it. I thought you had a copy of this.
Is that under?
Right, yeah.
Board of Adjustment shall consider item B?
Yes, it's item B. I have a question regarding this.
Right. Well, there's, we've got I think it's a 2-acre site, and a good 1.75 are occupied by buildings, and there's just not room. This is a new parking area. This is existing. This would all be new parking. Other than that, there's no way to squeeze out any other lots. So, I mean, we would be put into a position where we would have to buy additional property, and it would just not fit in the budget.
Excuse me, sir.
There's no guarantee that a parking lot's even allowed where we would purchase a lot. So that the time and money would prevent us from being able to do this.
I understand that. My question is this: from what I'm looking at, originally wanted 471 spaces. Originally, the planning and zoning regs were called for 471 spaces.
Mm-hmm.
It says here you would roughly need 140 more parking spaces within 400 feet of the site to get to that 471. So are you telling me there's 331 available within 400 square feet? Or 400 feet of the site?
I believe that calculation may have included this lot, and that has been removed. But yes, there's quite a bit of parking within 400. I'll try to zoom out here. So our dashed lines are our 400.
Okay.
So there's street parking 2 blocks in every direction, just about, and then all along Walter Descon, up and down this lot. The Parks lot is just outside of that, but that's an additional.
So rather than, the reason I'm asking is it changes your 179 to, in my mind, to 331. If there's 331 spaces available in there, while that doesn't meet the regulations, it at least increases the number considerably. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I do. You're saying.
So why do we need to go all the way down to 179?
Right. you're saying there's not a need to have a waiver of that many spaces if we have more.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Am I seeing that right, Mr. Bauer? I want to make sure.
I do see that. I just think we were trying to come to, or we wanted to come to what we thought was a realistic number.
Yes. Sir.
But if you're saying that that's more ideal, then I suppose we can. I guess it wouldn't make a difference, I guess, in our plan, other than if some single-family homes were built in the area and some of those spots were taken up.
Sure.
I guess, our argument is that we just don't need that many.
I would like to add a little bit of clarification, if I may, Chairman Casilius.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing or hearing a disconnect between the Commissioner Morrison and in his question and his astute observations on the findings and the request. There are roughly 330 spaces in that 400-foot perimeter, but many of those are on street. And by our ordinance, you cannot count the on-street parking. And so once the applicant must ask for a larger waiver because those spaces are on street and he cannot count those into the calculation. That's why that's that great disparity.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to add there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara.
Are there any more questions, comments?
This is Lee Sting with the Paducah Symphony. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Can I make a comment just for the Commission's information?
Yes.
We plan to keep our symphony concerts at the Carson Center.
Right.
So what you all are remembering from the past is not the type of event that would occur in this facility. It's primarily an education facility and administrative offices for us. So that's where Jeremy is asserting that we wouldn't have those large crowds in this facility. And I believe he's accurate in the way he's portrayed that. So just wanted to give my voice of support to the assertion that he has made about the need for those parking spaces.
Thank you, Reese. That clears up my question about where the symphony would be performing.
Yes, we will still stay at the Carson Center, so all of those large events would not be on the site. It would primarily be a place for student recitals and such like that, so a much smaller need for parking spaces.
Are there any other comments or questions? Are you ready for the vote? Call the roll, please.
Chairman Casilius.
Aye.
Commissioner Wade.
Aye.
Commissioner Spring.
Can't hear you, Tamara.
Commissioner Shramke.
Aye.
Commissioner Pollard,
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Morrison, I believe you have our first item of new business, the amendment to the development plan on New Holt Road.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, Chairman Casilius.
Yes, ma'am.
If Mr. Dyer is still on the line, could he relinquish control of the screen?
You would have to call it.
Ma'am, I would like.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to. I don't know how.
Hold on, Tamara. I'll see if I can do that.
Ah, the joys of technology.
Yes.
You should be able to right-click on the screen and request control, and I can send it to you that way, Tamara.
Okay.
You want me to? Should I hit switch presenter, allow control, request control?
And you just
Allow
need to-
control.
Correct.
Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you for your time. Good night.
Thank you.
Still haven't relinquished control yet. I'm still seeing it.
All right, Tamara, do you see that? I sent you the control.
I'm not seeing anything yet.
Oh, you've got two different connections, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Send it to the other one.
All right.
It's gonna pop up somewhere.
There you are.
There we go. I think.
Yeah, I've sent it to you. You don't see it? I've sent it to both of your connections. Nothing?
No. Oh, it's
Do you see it or no?
no, not yet.
Shouldn't have gave it up, huh?
He doesn't want to let go of it.
What about now?
There we go.
All right.
Yay.
Oh.
I got it the next one. New Holt Road. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Can you see that one?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Great. Okay.
Mr. Morrison, can you read the motion for us, please?
Yes. I move that this commission adopt a resolution approving the amendment to a development plan for property located at 2670 New Holt Road, Suite A.
Second.
Second by Wade.
All right. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
Casilius?
Yes.
How do you vote?
Oh, wait. Is there not any presentation?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we had to take it off. Yeah, you're right.
No. This has never been on the table.
Right.
That's okay.
Let's see. Do we have an applicant present? I do not want to usurp them.
Oh, I'm here. This is Eric from Bluegrass Sign.
Oh, great.
Hey, Eric. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Thank you for your patience.
Oh, that's no problem. This is just basically what this is a sign that I guess there was a sign there before of another salon, and I don't think the other salon ever got a actual permit, period, and put up a sign. That's what I gathered, and so nobody ever came before you guys before, and they took the sign down, and we were just putting up a new. So I guess the new owner came in, the new salon did.
Man, this is going slow.
Did you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the only comment I had on this one, I had emailed Josh in the staff report. Surrounding area information appears to be a cut and paste from some other property. But beyond that, I think we need to move forward on this.
Okay. If this is a fairly routine change out of signs in this development, and as you know, since it is in the MU zone, all signs have to go for approval, and this fits well within the parameters of what is typical out there as well as by ordinance, and therefore staff does recommend approval. And if you'd like any additional information, I'll be glad to try to share that. So what you say? Chairman Casilius, would you like to go to a vote?
I'm ready for the vote. Does anyone else have any more comments? Call the roll, please.
Chairman Casilius.
Aye.
Commissioner Wade.
Aye.
Commissioner Framke.
Aye.
Commissioner Pollard.
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you,
Ramsey. I
guys.
believe you have the last item of business. the Kentucky Avenue property.
I do, thank you. I move this commission receive and file the application of Urban Cobb Ltd. and Sons of Confederate Veterans for the proposed re-subdivision of property located at 603 and 619 Kentucky Avenue. I further move that the requested waiver of the public hearing and the dedication of streets be given, and that approval of the submitted plat be granted.
Second.
Second by Pollard.
Do not believe I saw someone on from Rod Martin? Mr. Martin?
Rod, nobody can hear you, apparently. Yeah, we see you just fine, and we see your face moving, but we got no audio. And you're not muted. You may need to change your audio for your mic. It'll be in preferences under audio, and then at the top it'll say recording device. Change that so that you see the level bumping over to the right. If you don't see that, it's not working correctly. Yeah, we can see your mouth moving, Rod, but we're getting no audio. There's also a dial-in number. You can use the phone if you want to try that real quick. If you've got that in your meeting invite. Anybody have that number available? I'll mute and go get it. Rod, that number is 425-585-6286, and your access code when it asks you on the prompt is going to be 812-241-345. All right. Can you hear
this is Rod. Hi.
There we go.
Thank goodness. Yay.
Yeah. Let me mute my video speaker because now it's coming back on me.
I muted you. You're free to speak, Rod.
Okay. I'm trying to mute my speaker here. Just a minute. Okay. Very good. I appreciate it. I'm sorry. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, good deal, good deal. Well, this is a simple waiver of subdivision. It is for Irvin Cobb Apartments. What has happened there is that Irvin Cobb has a generator that is actually over on the Sons of Confederate Veterans property, so we're simply cutting out a small 200 square foot tract of ground that's designated as Parcel A that will be deeded to the Irvin Cobb Limited property, and then and taken away from the Sons of Confederate Veterans property. I'm not sure you all have anything to look at there, but it's I think it's been reviewed, and we've made corrections in accordance with Josh's recommendations.
We have it in our packet.
Okay, good deal, good deal. Any questions?
Yes, sir. One, I just want to make sure, I think you just answered it, but on page 4 of the report we have, there were 4 items that were being asked to be corrected.
Yes, sir.
Were they all corrected?
Yes, sir, they sure were.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Call the roll, please.
Chairman Crecilius.
Aye.
Commissioner Wade.
Aye.
Commissioner Shrimke.
Aye.
Commissioner Pollard.
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison.
Aye.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there any other business to come before the commission tonight? Then I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for your time and your efforts and your patience. And I will call this meeting to a close at 6:53 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good week.
All.
Okay.